everybody, it's Amy Caroline. It's Amy Caroline. Welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new video. Welcome back to my channel. So, without further ado, you guys, I am going to do, and finally, I'm going to do a ghost train story for you guys. I haven't been getting to it in such a long time. I know you guys, I know you guys want Ghost Train to be on the Travel Channel, but, I'm not the one that's gonna put it on the Travel Channel. It's gonna be the Travel Channel, it's gonna be the Travel Channel company, or it's gonna be the people who work for the Travel Channel, okay? All right, it's gonna be them, okay? Okay? So, if you work for the Travel Channel, those of you who work for the Travel Channel, those of you who work for the Travel Channel out there, those of you who work for the Travel Channel out there, please put Ghost Train on the Travel Channel. Please put Ghost Train on the Travel Channel. And let the people and the spirits and the ghosts go back in time. Let the people go back in time when they do the show, and let the actors and the people go back in time, and put the spirits in there, please put them in there, put the spirits in there, put the ghost in there, put everything in there, okay? So, anyway, I'm going to do a Ghost Train story for you guys, and then after that, I'm gonna show you some examples from the TV show documentary Haunted Hotels, and it will give you an example of what Ghost Train should look like on the Travel Channel, okay? All right. So First, I am going to read this story for you guys, and then after that, I'm going to do my example from Haunted Hotels, and this story is called The Warsaw Ghost Train, and it takes place in Warsaw, North Carolina. So anyway, the Warsaw Ghost Train. Here we go, folks. Warsaw, North Carolina is a little country town located on the CSX's rail lines. The railroad through Warsaw was once part of an Atlantic coastline route into Wilmington, North Carolina. An evening freight train's crew accidentally left a switch open on the Warsaw Ghost Train story begins in November 1906, when an evening freight train's crew accidentally left an open switch on the main line. The open switch hadn't been discovered. The next morning, when the southbound passenger train whistled for Warsaw Station, As the train approached, it hit the open switch, and at speed, the engine derailed and overturned. Burst steam pipes quickly scalded the trapped engineer and fireman to death. The baggage car also derailed and lurched halfway over. The baggage master inside, his back broken by the impact, was trapped under tons of baggage. He screamed over and over, but when the passengers from the other cars finally reached him, he was dead. Soon after the accident, a family was walking home at night from the town's only hotel. Roads were bad, so they were walking along the railroad tracks. They were on a trestle, a dangerous spot to be if a train comes by. When they heard a southbound extra whistle for Warsaw Station, the piercing beam of the headlights stabbed towards them. The family ran across the trestle to safety and stopped by the side of the tracks to let the train pass. The whistle sounded again, and the headlight bore down on upon them, and then to their astonishment, the train simply disappeared. Several nights later, the engineer of a northbound train whistled for Warsaw stations. To his horror, he heard a southbound train, a train without rights to the track, whistle back. And the headlight shone hit in his face. The engineer put the brakes into emergency, and the train ground to a shuddering halt. The trainmen back in the passenger cars knew something was wrong. When they felt the sickening lurch of emergency brakes, they ran up the track to investigate, but nothing was there. Apparently, the ghost of the wrecked train was appearing in Warsaw. Many people saw it back in the earlier years of the century. Although it hasn't reappeared for a long time, perhaps as time passed, it faded away. So when you guys do the documentary show, when you guys whenever you guys can get this on the Travel Channel, whenever you guys can get it on the Travel Channel, put this episode on here, and also, of course, let the story go back in time. Let the people go back in time. Put the spirits on there. Put the ghost on there. Put everything on there that I just read, and put this story on here too, okay? And put this episode on here. Put this episode on here too. Okay? All right? So now the next story I'm going to read is a bit different. This one is called the Statesville Ghost Train. The Statesville Ghost Train. This one is called the Statesville Ghost Train. This one is called the Statesville Ghost Train, and it takes place in 1891, and then after that in 1941. So the Statesville Ghost Train. Here we go, folks. Here we go. During the early morning hours of August 27th, 1891, a passenger train left Salisbury, North Carolina for Asheville. The train never made it any further than Boston's Bridge, a 60-foot high stone brick arch bridge over Third Creek in Buffalo Shoals, which is in Statesville. Buffalo Shoals is where it's located. The 1858 Venice structure, which is used to this day, is near Statesville, North Carolina. Like I said, it's in Buffalo Shoals, Statesville, North Carolina. Buffalo Shoals, Buffalo Shoals. The next important stop after Salisbury on the line to Asheville, at about 3 a.m., the ill-fated train derailed and plunged off Boston's Bridge, falling 60 feet into the creek below. 22 people died from the shock of the fall or from drowning in the waters of the creek. It was the worst wreck in North Carolina's history. Since that time, the Salisbury-Asheville line has become part of the Southern Railway system, now Norfolk Southern. Our story goes forward in time. Remember, the story goes back in time. Our story goes forward in time 50 years to the early morning hours of August 27th, 1941. A woman stranded along the road that paralleled the Southern Railway near Statesville was waiting for her husband, who had gone for help. They had a flat tire. She heard a train whistle in the distance, and a headlight appeared down the tracks. As the train approached her, and it began to cross a high bridge. Suddenly, the engine derailed, and the train plunged off the bridge into the creek below. The horrible sounds of the wreck were soon replaced by the groans and cries of wounded people. The woman ran toward the wreck and looked down the creek bed. The sight was horrendous. The engine tender and passenger cars were twisted mass of wreckage that was quickly being flooded by the waters of the creek. Just then, she heard a pull. She heard a car pull behind her. Pull up behind her. She ran towards it, screaming that a terrible wreck had just happened. Her husband was in the car with a stranger who owned a nearby country store. The men went to look at the ravine, but nothing was there. Apparently, the train had been a ghost train, reenacting the wreck of 1891. Since then, Statesville youths have frequented the Boston's Bridge area on night outings to look for the ghost train, sometimes conducting informal censuses there. On the 100th anniversary of the wreck, newspaper stories about the haunting led hundreds of people to the bridge. Onlookers were parked along the rural road, the rural road that runs by the area, waiting for the ghost train, while vendors sold shirts and drinks. while some ghost hunters claim they did see or hear a ghost, most, including the author, agree it didn't appear. The Impronto anniversary gathering seems destined, or whatever that word is, to become local folklore in its own right. Anyway, the story goes back in time. Remember, the story has to go back in time, and it has to show the people going back in time, and it has to show the spirits. It has to show the ghosts too. It's got to show that too. It's got to show the ghost and the spirits as well, and the ghost train appearing, and the people going back in time. So the story goes back in 1891 and in 1941, and in 1941, and so does the Warsaw Ghost Train. So does the Warsaw Ghost Train. Okay. So now I'm going to do an example from I'm gonna do an example from Haunted Hotels, from the TV show documentary Haunted Hotels, and it will give you an example of what Ghost Train should look like on the Travel Channel when you guys can put it on there. Okay, all right. So here's Haunted Hotels. Hang on a minute. Wait, let me get it on. Oh, sorry. All right, here it is.
Staying in old inns or stately homes are sometimes greeted with a ghost story, which can be charming or terrifying, depending on how the spirit moves them, and which room the spectre chooses to haunt. There are hotels in which the supernatural is every day. A hostelry where dead men really do tell tales.
Those eyes, those milky eyes, just kept drawing him in.
A hotel where a phantom's embrace leaves visitors gasping for breath.
It's a spirit that comes from the front and passes right through and leaves them.
And a guest house which is home to a little girl who is 12 years old, forever.
She hates lights. She likes it when it's nice and dark.
Explore another side of the distant past, where ghosts search the night for answers, and departed spirits walk once more. Older cities can be great for weekend breaks. Historic houses, cobblestone streets, comforting reminders of a simpler time. But in a haunted hotel, history really does come alive, and in rather unsettling ways. Nestled among groves of walnut trees, the Snowball Mansion Inn is the pride of Knights Landing, California. According to innkeepers Cheryl and James Furing, in the 1870s, this Victorian Italianate villa was the grandest building in town.
Snowball Mansion is a very elegant lady facing the Sacramento River.
A little more than 100 kilometers northeast of San Francisco, this former family home delights guests with comfort and tradition. Its furnishings taken straight from the Victorian era.
We tried to make a guest feel that they were stepping back in time.
The mansion was built to last, constructed entirely from mud brick.
The mud was taken from the river, and it took 5 years for all the bricks to be made. Even the interior walls are brick.
Walls built to last for centuries. Walls that once muted an anguished cry that now echoes through time. The haunting story of Snowball Mansion began more than a century ago, in the 1870s, when a businessman called John Snowball built this house for his bride, Lucy.
John and Lucy Snowball were very happy together. They spent a lot of their time in their home and enjoying the grounds, reading in the grove. The sound came from the land.
Before long, the couple was blessed with a daughter. For Lucy, the child was welcome company when John's business took him far from home.
I don't think it was easy for Lucy, and her husband was away on business a lot. So when he returned home, it was a special time for her to spend time with him.
Each time John returned from a trip, Lucy delighted in hearing about his travels. But on one night, this simple pleasure would rob the couple of their greatest joy.
John had just returned from his trip, and Lucy was glad to see him. She went in to spend some time with him after putting the baby down.
Lucy had intended to spend the night in her room next to the nursery, but the long day had taken its toll. She fell asleep beside John instead, listening to stories from his recent trip. Lucy slept peacefully, never dreaming of the dangers this night would hold for her infant daughter.
The walls being brick, they're very well insulated, so noise does not travel in a brick house.
In the morning, Lucy woke up and realized she had slept through the night in a bed far from her daughter's crib.
She immediately ran to check on the baby.
That night, the earthen bricks of their solid, secure home had muffled the cries of their child in the nursery.
That's where she found the baby.
John!
And the baby was not breathing.
Their daughter had died during the night.
When Lucy found her child dead, she was devastated and she blamed herself for not being in her room to hear the baby.
Lucy laid her daughter to rest, but her grief stayed with her. John struggled to lift his wife out of her sorrow, but the cheerful young woman he had married was gone.
I don't think Lucy ever forgave herself for losing her child. I think she felt guilty her whole life and went into a deep depression that she really never came out of. She stayed home and became a recluse. Lucy spent a lot of time in the nursery. For weeks, they would find her in there, sitting by the crib.
Though she lived into her 70s, Lucy Snowball took her grief with her to the grave. And according to some, even death has not brought Lucy peace. Ghostly events have led some to see her home in a different light. It seems that ghosts are guests who never leave, troubled spirits never at peace. Many visitors to California's Snowball Mansion Inn believe the spirit of Lucy Snowball still wanders, grieving for the daughter who died in the nursery so long ago.
All the children in Knight's Landing think it's the haunted house.
Even the current owners feel there is more to this mansion than meets the eye.
The oddest feelings is when the windows rattle.
It's common for the windows of old houses to rattle in the wind, but at Snowball Mansion, the pattern is most uncommon.
The windows will start rattling one at a time upstairs, and they'll go across the front of the house, down the house, to the front door, and around the side of the house. People that aren't used to it or have never seen it are quite startled by it.
Those who hear Lucy's sad story believe they know the reason for the shuddering windows.
It seems sometimes that Lucy attempts to waken guests so that they can check on their family to prevent maybe another tragedy.
Lucy's warnings can take many forms: rattling doors and windows, smoke detector alarms. They say sometimes she even comes to the front door.
In the early evening, at dusk, the doorbell will ring, and I've gone to answer the door, and nobody's there. I'll step out onto the porch, look around, nobody's there. And you kind of get a odd little feeling.
Some guests report that Lucy's activities go far beyond rattling windows and ringing bells.
About 25 years ago, a renter lived in that room, and he started seeing Lucy appearing to him.
It always happened in the middle of the night when she would come, and he would wake up and see her. It made him feel very uncomfortable, and he eventually moved.
Recent guests at the inn say they've spotted Lucy, still trying to do the best for her baby.
Guests told us that Lucy's ghost had come through the wall where a doorway leading into the nursery had once been. I believe Lucy is still in the house because she has never really gotten over the loss of her child. She is still roaming these 3 rooms.
Guests sense Lucy's spirit is veiled in sorrow. But on rare occasions, ghostly events seem to hark back to happier times.
There's been reports from some of our guests that they've heard old-fashioned music coming from the old ballroom upstairs.
And if Snowball Mansion's owners are right, Lucy is not alone. Another spirit is there to comfort her forever.
I'm sure if Lucy Snowball spirit is here, that John Snowball spirit is here also, at Lucy's side.
While some spirits seem to be able to draw comfort from those around them, others appear fated to more solitary pursuits, taking their secrets with them to the grave and beyond.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop there. Did you see of how the story went back in time, and did you see of how the ghost and the spirits were appearing? Well, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm talking about that. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, all right. So, that's what Ghost Train has to look like on the Travel Channel. Okay, all right. Haunted hotels used to come on the Travel Channel. Haunted hotels used to come on the Travel Channel. It used to, but now it doesn't. So Ghost Train has to come on there this time. Okay, all right. Ghost Train has to come on there this time. Okay, all right. This time, Ghost Train has to come on there. Okay. And the show should be called Ghost Train, or if you want to, you can call it Ghost Train American Railroad Ghost Legends if you want to. Those of you who work for the Travel Channel, if you want to call it Ghost Train, that's okay. But if you want to call it Ghost Train American Railroad Ghost Legends, you can if you want to. And the stories that I read to you just now and earlier, the stories that I read earlier is called the Warsaw Ghost Train, and the story about Statesville, and the other story, the Statesville Ghost Train, okay, all right. So the story takes place in 1891, and the structure was built in 1858, and the wreck happened in 1891, and then in 1941, a woman was stranded along the road that paralleled the Southern Railway near Statesville, was waiting for her husband, who had gone for help. They had a flat tire. She heard a train whistle in the distance, and a headlight appeared down the tracks. As the train approached her, it began to cross a high bridge. Suddenly, the engine derailed, and the train plunged off the bridge into a creek below. So yeah. So, I mean, you get it, though. You get it. So, but, anyway, but, so that is what the documentary should look like on the Travel Channel. If it ever gets on the Travel Channel, you guys are going to be the one. You guys are going to be the ones to put it on there. Those of you out there who work for the Travel Channel, it's not going to be my job. It's going to be yours. It's going to be yours. Okay. All right. Those of you who work for the Travel Channel, please do it. Okay. All right. Whenever you can. And I'll be back later this evening if I have time. I'll be back later this evening to show you guys to show you guys more stories to let it be an episode on the ghost to let it be an episode on the Travel Channel. I'll be back later this evening to show you guys, okay? All right? I'll be back later this evening to show you guys, okay? All right? So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you would like to, and ring the bell, and I will see you guys later for the next Ghost Train story and the next example too. Later on, I'll be back for that, okay? Okay, bye everybody. Bye everybody. Bye.